I am making an updated Umi controlled deck profile since I finally managed to get all the cards I was needing for it. This deck does not have an extra deck put together at the moment, mainly because I never really needed the extra deck. So for now, I've just been borrowing my Valkyrie deck's extra deck, which is literally just a bunch of Ghost Reaper targets. But overall, I've been testing this deck. I did pretty poorly at the last tournament I took it to, but that was just because I forgot to play test a couple of times so I can remember how all my cards worked. And I forgot that Electric Jellyfish and Karyushin each have once per turn effects that do not require Umi to be on the field. To start off with the monsters, I play one copy of Maiden of the Aqua. Maiden of the Aqua just has the effect of while there's no field spell in play, its name becomes Umi. Which is actually kind of important because every once in a while you won't have a field spell and you'll need Umi. Which, this is one of my favorite monsters to summon off of Karyushin's Dark Reef, which I'll cover later. Then I play 3 copies of Ice Knight. Ice Knight should be either Pod Extravagance or Pod Desires. But one of my friends was willing to let me borrow his Pod Pod Extravagance, my bad. There's too many pot cards. Honestly, at this point, I'm surprised Konami hasn't just brought back Pot of Greed just for the laughs. But Ice Knight has the effect of it gains 400 attack points for every Aqua monster you control. And then it also has the once per turn effect of giving you an additional normal summon of a water monster. But you can only gain that effect once per turn. Then I play 1 copy of Doomkraken. Doomkraken has the effect of if Umi is on the field, then as a quick effect, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 water monster you control. Destroy the target opponent's monster, return the monster you control to the hand, to then summon the Doomkraken. And then Doomkraken also has the effect of... when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, negate the attack. You can only use each effect of Doomkraken once per turn. And it is searchable, so there's literally no reason to play more than 1. Then I play 3 copies of Electric Jellyfish. Electric Jellyfish has a once per turn effect if you can send Umi from your hand or deck to the graveyard to then special summon a water monster from your hand. During the tournament, I was an idiot and forgot about that effect, even though I had the 2-card combo that gives you Electric Jellyfish, Karyushin, Umi, and Sea Stealth attack. I had that, didn't realize it, and I just set an Electric Jellyfish and passed. Because I'm an idiot. But Electric Jellyfish also has the effect of while Umi is in play, then when your opponent activates a monster or spell card or effect, then you can negate that effect, and if you do, Electric Jellyfish then gains 600 attack and defense. And you can only use each effect of Electric Jellyfish once per turn. The only thing I wish is that this card was an Omni Negate, instead of just being able to negate either a monster effect or a spell card activation or effect. Then I play 3 copies of Warrior of Atlantis. This card simply exists to be discarded to grab a Legendary Ocean from your deck. Then I play 2 copies of Karyushin. I prefer playing Karyushin in this deck, but most people either play Frostosaurus or Terror King Salmon. But I only play this because of how some of the cards actually either just let you summon a water normal monster from your deck, and I prefer Karyushin. Karyushin is only in here because of my own personal preference. Then I play 3 copies of Ocean Dragon Lord Karyushin. This is the main boss monster of the deck, as it has a once per turn effect of you can add Umi, a Karyushin spell or trap, or a Sea Stealth card or spell trap from your deck to your hand. And while Umi is in play, then each player can only control one face-up non-water monster. Which I love it when my opponent lets me activate a legendary ocean. They don't negate it. Like I did against Dragon Link once, and it was hilarious because I had an answer for their one negate. But I activated Legendary Ocean, normal summon this. Because its control effect is not an activated effect, then once it's summoned and Umi is in play, your opponent doesn't get a chance to respond because it's not an activated effect. It's just a not exactly a floodgate, but it's just a continuous effect that's always in play, so your opponent must send monsters they control to the grave until they only have one face-up non-water. And it was hilarious. But I want to say it was funnier because they kept Heretic Seal, the Heavenly Spheres. I activated Sea Stealth too, and they couldn't even attempt to activate its effect because they couldn't target my waters with non-water monster effects. Then, moving on, I then play one copy of Citadel Whale. Citadel Whale has the effect of if it's in your hand or graveyard, you contribute 2 water monsters to special summon this card. You can only use this effect as Citadel Whale once per turn. And then, if this card is special summoned, you can set 1 Sea Stealth attack directly from your deck. And then once per turn, when the opponent's monster activates a card, or when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets exactly 1 water monster you control, then you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. So this can help you negate things like Imperm, Valor, other cards that target exactly 1 water monster that you control. I just like it as a one-of. And then for the last one-of, I played one copy of Mega Fortress Whale. Mega Fortress Whale, I think, is a decent card as it has a once per turn effect. You can activate its effects so that all water monsters you currently control can attack your opponent directly that turn. With also having an effect during your opponent's battle phase, at the very beginning you can activate its effect to then destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. And then it has another floating effect, but I don't play water warrior monsters, so its float effect doesn't really matter. Moving on to the spells, I play one copy of Rage of Karyushin. Rage of Karyushin can only be activated while you have Umi in play, but if you do, then you can destroy, or you can... Okay, I had to read the card because I couldn't remember if it was just a non-target destroy or target and destroy. But you can while Umi's in play, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls for each of your monsters. For each of your water monsters that's originally level 5 or higher. Destroy that monster until the end of the next turn. The zones those monsters are in cannot be used. Then I play one copy of Sea Stealth 2. This card makes it so your opponent cannot target your water monsters with non-water monster effects. Which, first time I read that, I misread it and misplayed when I told my opponent they couldn't imperm my monsters because it's not a water monster. I realized very quickly that that's not how that works. But unfortunately, it was after the game was over, which I lost anyway, so oh well. But Sea Stealth 2 also has the effect, at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon 1 monster from your hand or grave in defense position that mentions Umi in its text, but it's destroyed at the end of the battle phase, which I realized it has a neat little interaction with Sea Stealth attack, which I'll get to later on. But you can only use each effect of Sea Stealth 2 once per turn. Also, it's always treated as Umi. Then I play 2 copies of Fury of Karyushin. Fury of Karyushin has the effect of you can add a torrential tribute from your deck to your hand, and then if a water monster you control be destroyed with battle or card effect, because I think it's battle or card effect. My bad. If a water monster you control be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Fury of Karyushin once per turn. So this card lets you get a dark hole that essentially becomes a Raigeki. And I think it's funny. Then I play 3 copies of a Legendary Ocean. This is just Umi that increases or decreases the levels of all water monsters in both players' hands and field by 1. Which is funny against Sprite because then they can't make a Toad because all their water monsters become level 1 instead of level 2. So they can't. So their level 2 Aquas become level 1 Aquas unless they're not water. Then I play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. This just lets you dump a trap I'll get to later on. Then I play 3 copies of Fish Sonar, which just lets you add a level 7 or lower monster from your deck to your hand. That mentions Umi. And then if Umi is in play, you can then also special summon a level 5. You can special summon 1 water normal monster from your deck. I don't know why I keep wanting to say it's level 5 or lower. Then you can only activate 1 Fish Sonar per turn, is the rest of its effect. Then I play 1 copy of Sea Stealth Attack. I was an idiot with this card because I forgot it has the effect of you can banish a water monster you control to then make it so that your spells and traps can't be destroyed by card effects that turn. Which I was an idiot because my opponent used Twin Twisters, targeting Sea Stealth Attack and Sea Stealth 2, which I wouldn't have Umi in play if that went off. I didn't think there was anything I can do until later when I realized I could have just banished a thing so that my spells and traps couldn't be destroyed and I would have been just fine. But it also has 2 other effects where when activated, you can activate Umi from your hand or from your graveyard. And if Umi's in play and your opponent battles a water monster you control that was originally level 5 or higher, then that monster is automatically destroyed. Then I play 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. This card just destroys all monsters on that field when a monster is summoned. Then I play 3 copies of Karyushin's Dark Reef. Karyushin's Dark Reef can only be activated by sending a face-up Umi you control to the grave. But then lets you summon 2 monsters from your deck that mention Umi in their text. And then if your opponent controls a monster when it is activated, you can then summon as many water normal monsters from your deck as you want. So this card can potentially give you 5 monsters just by giving up 1 Umi. Which, normally I would summon Ocean Dragon Lord Karyushin, Maiden of the Aqua, and then originally I was playing 3 copies of Karyushin, just for Karyushin's Dark Reef. And then to finish off the deck, I then play 3 copies of Ice Barrier. Ice Barrier has the effect of when an opponent's monster declares an attack. You can activate this card so that the attacking monster has attack points reduced to 0. Effects are negated and it cannot switch its battle position. But then it also has the grave effect. If you can banish it from your grave to send a level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then you can add 1 level 5 or higher monster from your graveyard to your hand. Which, that effect is a bit worrying for me since it can be stopped by Ash and Bell. Which both are very much running around right now. But that is it for my for my Umi controlled deck profile. Feel free to comment down below how I can improve the deck, decks like to see be made in the future, or decks like to see face each other. And thank you so much for watching.